Hey guys, what's up? It's R-DiK here, old school duelist, whatever you want to call me. I'm coming at you with a very interesting deck profile. I'm doing Performapals. Now, Performapals, they are really under the radar, I guess you can call it. But they are an interesting deck, a very, very interesting deck. They're new. I feel like Konami is really trying to push pendulums on us by giving Performapals more support and also trying to take out the Klees. Granted, I was a Klee player. If you knew this, you would have seen my deck profile down below. I think I posted one. Can't remember. Oh, well, anyways. So we're going to jump into one of the newer pendulum decks that are out there. I mean, there's also Magician Performapal or Performage Performapal. But I really enjoy just straight Performapals. Now, once we get the Skull Dancer, obviously I'm going to build Magician, Odd-Eyes Magician, because Performapal compared to Odd-Eyes Magician is pretty weak. Or Odd-Eyes is better. That's what I'm getting at. Odd-Eyes is better. Yeah. So we're going to jump right into this deck profile. Start with the main deck as normal. You want to play 3 Lizard Draw. There's a few cards when you play this deck you can't play it without the cards, and I will definitely point out Lizard Draw being one of them. Only for the fact if you want to use the pendulum scale, you kind of need Lizard Draw. I mean, you could not use Lizard Draw, but Lizard Draw is great for draw power once you do your pendulum summons for the turn. But Lizard Draw is amazing. While in the pendulum zone, and you have another Performapal in the other pendulum zone, you can just destroy him, and he gets to let you draw 1 card. Now, when he's on the field as a monster, whenever a monster is destroyed, when another face-up monster, yes, I was right, another face-up monster is destroyed, the number of Performapal monsters currently on the field, you get to draw that many. He's a great card to have on the field. That's why you pendulum summon, use the effect, destroy, draw your 1 card, and then next turn pendulum out there, because he's only a level 3, so that's really nice. But it's just a nice, good card to have in the deck, and it is one of the necessary ones, I think at least. And here's a card that you cannot play the deck without it. Performapal Silverclaw. Now, Silverclaw is a good card, because when he declares an attack, all Performapal monsters gain plus 300. Including him, obviously. But when he's in the pendulum zone, all Performapal monsters gain 300 attack. Permanently. That's just a thing. Now, when it declares an attack type effect, that's only for the battle phase. But still, it's still a great card because, first of all, he's in level 4, 18 Beach Stick. Plus, when he attacks, he becomes 21. Plus, with the effect of all the other Performapal boosts, because this deck is all about just boosting each other. Because it's based off the circus. Now, in the circus, everybody helps everybody. Everybody helps boost each other and get the job done and pull off an excellent show. That was possibly the most dumbest thing I've ever said in my life. But we're gonna get past that. Now, all the Performapal monsters do like a boost and a support of each other. Silverclaw being one of the main support cards. He's newer. Next card we run is Performapal Camelump. Now, Performapal Camelump, when he's a monster on the field, when destroyed by battle and sent to grave, that monster loses 800 attack permanently. When he's in the pendulum zone, you can target a monster on your side of the field. It allows you to do piercing damage, and anything in defense position loses 800 defense. So it is an amazing card. I think it is just amazing. I love it so much. I don't think it's one of the necessary cards you need, but it is a nice support card to have. Now, this next card is a must-have. It is one of the pride and joys of the deck, and helps you win, basically. Performapal Snake, or Whip Snake. I always get that mixed up. Whip Snake. Now, Whip Snake, during either player's turn, you can target a monster, and its attack and defense is switched. So it's great for if they have a low attack, or low defense, and a high attack, and just slam into it. Same thing, vice versa. If they have a high defense and a low attack, and they're in defense position, you switch them, and now you look at that, you can run it over with Whip Snake. Yeah. That's about all he's really used for, and he is a necessary card. Now, this card is, borderline useful or useless. It's up to you if you want to run it. I personally think I run it at 3. 3, Performapal Swordfish. Swordfish, when he is normal summoned or special summoned, all monsters your opponent currently controls loses 600 attack. Now, when you special summon while he's on the field, all your opponent's monsters lose 600 attack and defense again. So he's an amazing card to have in your hand and Pendulum Summon afterwards, because you can minus 1200 from your opponent's attack and defense with him alone. Normal summon him, loses 600 attack and defense, then special summon or pendulum summon, whatever you're going to do that turn, to do it again. Now, it is an amazing card. I think it's quite necessary. Well, I wouldn't say quite necessary, but he does do really big combos and allows you to punch for a lot of damage, and it weakens the big guys really fast. I think, personally, I would not run the deck without it. I run 3. You could run 2 to 3. I prefer 3 because consistency. The next card is Performapal Drummerilla. Now, Drummerilla is more than likely your Pendulum Zone monster. He is amazing, I think. He's awesome. I wouldn't run him at 3. I would run a max of 2, but Drummerilla is an amazing card because when he's in the Pendulum Zone, you can... when a monster does battle with an opponent's monster, a monster you control does battle with an opponent's monster, you can plus 600 attack for your monster. Therefore, again, there you go, dealing more damage. Now, his on-field effect, you can normal him out if you control the monsters and your opponent controls one, but his attack or his level becomes 4. And same thing is the same effect. When a monster you control does battle with an opponent's monster, you can give plus 600. I don't really know him. I don't really have him on the field that much. Unless I'm going to go to an overlay, because I do have 2, so I can run rank 5s. So, I don't really use that too much. I just, most of the time, use him for Pendulum Zone. The next card I run is Performapal Friend Donkey. Now, Performapal Friend Donkey is an amazing card. I did run him at 2 or at 3, but now I decided to run him at 2 because of the next card I'm going to show you guys. But Friend Donkey is amazing because when he's normal summoned, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Performapal monster from your hand or graveyard. So essentially, he is a monster reborn. It's a really good card. Personally, I enjoy it so much, but the second card I think is a little better. Performapal Second Donkey. Now, Second Donkey's effect, he is a new card, and it is, I think, is one of the last few cards that the deck really needs for right now. There's more support that's going to come out eventually from OCG, and I think that is the new support that comes out for the deck will make Performapals, I think, even stronger and could actually be meta. But that's all, what happens with Gradles and Psyframes and whatever they want to do with all the other upcoming decks. Like Archfiends, I actually think they could be... Archfiends? Yes, Archfiends. I think Archfiends, because Archfiends are starting to get the Dragon support from, Arc V, or Arc 5, whatever the heck you call it. Arc V, I call it. But these guys are amazing. Second Donkey, sorry. Second Donkey's effect is when he is normal or special, you can send 1 Performapal monster from your deck to the grave, which is really amazing to go into Friend Donkey. But if you have 2 Performapal monsters in your Pendulum Zone, you can add that Performapal monster to your hand instead. I think I think he's better than Friend Donkey. Only for the fact that more than likely you're always going to have Pendulum Zone cards. So, he's just another big search, really. That's all he is. Other than you have Performapal Salute a Tiger. Salute a Tiger is another amazing card, because when he destroys a monster by an attack, you get to add a Performapal Pendulum monster to your hand. He's great for the search. I run him at 2. I did run him at 3, but I took 1 out for a Second Donkey. Salute Tiger, you actually, with all the support, all the attack support, he can actually get pretty big and run over monsters, and you could add the Pendulum monster. So he's really good for having really good for searching out more lizard draws or whatever else you need to get your pendulum summon start going. Now, the last Performapal monster I run is Performapal Ellehammer. A quick fact about Ellehammer: Ellehammer is actually based off a mammoth, not an elephant, which is surprising. It's really weird. But you run him. I run him at 1. I would like to try 2, but 1 is actually doing me pretty fine. Now, you can normal summon him without pendulum or without tributing if you have 2 or more Performapal monsters on field. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that really works for having Performapal monsters in the pendulum zone, but I know for sure you have no problem special or getting 2 on the field. But when he declares an attack, you can send all spells and traps your opponent controls back to the hand, which is amazing. I don't really know how that works with Mirror Force. They haven't really put out a ruling for that out yet. But either way, it's still a really good effect, and he's 2600, and you can get him out there pretty easily. Now, the last 2 cards I run in the deck are not Performapal monsters, so it's still borderline, useful or dead draw. Either way, it's a good card. It comes in handy, to me at least. I run 2 Odd Eyes. 2 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. I use the effect for mostly searching out Lizard Draw, or Draw Lizard, I think that's its name. Lizard Draw, yeah, I was right. Lizard Draw, or the Camelump, because it's 1500 attack or less. And also, I have gotten him out there a few times, drawn into a second one, because I'll use the first one up and I'll draw into the second one and be able to just blop blop. Get him out there and deal a lot of damage. That's it for the monsters. We're going to move on to the spells. The spells and traps are pretty small. I run a lot of monsters. That is a really monster heavy deck because of a lot of traps. And the spells and traps are mainly just for a little bit of backup support. Now the first spell I run is 2 Bubble Barrier, BB. Bubble Barrier. It's an amazing card. Any Performapal and Perform Mage monsters on the field cannot be destroyed once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by card effect or battle once per turn. So it's an amazing card. I think you can't run it without it. I only run 2. I would like to run 3, but I just can't find the space for the third one. I could probably work or start playing with the other spells that I run in the deck, but the traps are pretty necessary. But it's up to you. You do what you want. I'm pretty happy with the consistency, and I use it. I get it just when I need it. I run 2 Wavering Eyes. Wavering Eyes is still a pretty iffy card for me, only because you want to try and keep your pendulum monsters on the field, because pendulum summoning is a big part of the deck. So it's a pretty iffy card for me to run. It does come in handy, and I do drop for game quite a bit with it. And if I have my 2, or if you're facing something else that runs pendulums, it is an amazing card because you can deal the 500, search out a new pendulum monster, or you could banish 1 card on the field, or banish 1 card on banish 1 card on the field and get the other Wavering Eyes back. I use it a lot for if I need, say I have stuff in my hand, or pendulum monsters that I want on field, like say Silverclaw or Camelump. I'll throw them in a pendulum zone, deal 500 damage. I'll activate Wavering Eyes, deal the 500 damage, search out a Lizard Draw or a Drummerilla, and it just and then I can start going into all sorts of different combos. Wavering Eyes is a great combo card to go with. Sometimes you just draw into 3 pendulum monsters that you really need, so you can just play 2 that you need, blow stuff up, search, start pendulum summoning cards, and it is an amazing. I think overall it is a great card. I think wouldn't say necessary. It is definitely an iffy card for the deck, and something that you should definitely try. I wouldn't say don't use it. I would give it a try if you're gonna run Performapals. Next card I run, that is the last spell, is I run 2 Forbidden Lance. Galaxy Cyclone, I guess, could be another card, or you could just run MSTs, but Forbidden Lance is great because it protects your monsters, obviously. And you can, again, with the shrinking of your opponent's attack and defense, this card is amazing to do that, to deal more damage. That's case hope you guys enjoyed that. That takes care of all the spells in the deck. We're going to move on to the trap. This is, I think, a necessary trap card. You may think of different, you may want to run less, but I think 3 Performapal Call is amazing because when your opponent declares a direct attack, you get to add 2 Performapal monsters from deck to hand. So you can definitely search out stuff and protect yourself at the same time. So I think it's a necessary card for the deck. I think At 3, it is beautiful. The next card I run is 2 Command Performance. I would personally rather run 3 MS or 3 Miracle Force, but obviously this is not really a main deck I like to use. It's more of a for fun deck that is really strong, so that's why I built it. But I would prefer 3 Mirror Force, but I didn't have 2 extra Mirror Forces laying around, so I just threw in 1 and 2 Command Performance. Actually, it's really good because you can chain Whip Snake with it. And deal and Camelump if it's in the Pendulum with it, and deal a lot of damage. And obviously, for some staples that I run, 1 Solemn Warning and 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. I think that is perfect. That takes care of the main deck. We're going to move on to the extra deck, and we're going to fly through this because the extra deck is pretty self-explanatory. I won 1 Gachi Gachi Ganasutsu, or Ganasutsu, or whatever you call it. I won 1 Gachi Gachi. Great. I rarely get them out there because I only run 3 level 2s. Windups and mains, because there's quite a few. There's, I think, like 6 targets for 3s. 1 Cowboy, got Cowboy. 1 Heartland Draco, number 82, Heartland Draco, because I have the bubble. And plus also the pendulums, they count as spells, so he can't be targeted for attacks. 1 Ragna Zero, because you do a lot of attack and defense changing. Abyss Dweller, because graveyard effects are scary. 1 Maestroke, the Symphony Djinn, because I don't have a Castell for the deck. 1 Diamond Direwolf, because there's a lot of beasts in the deck. 1 Kerrigan Amalescent Knight, I don't know how to pronounce that. So go on Kerrigan, because it's for fun. Why not? It's a big 2450. 1 number 80 Rhapsodian Berserk, because why not? You can actually do a lot of overlays in a turn, so if you're going to do some overlaying, I would try and get him out there so you can banish and then deal stuff. I won 1 number 61 Volcasaurus because I actually can't, because I have the Drumarillas if you actually get them out there. And these next 2 cards, if I get better stuff to change it with, I'm going to, but I can run them. I have the monsters to summon them, so why not? 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack. This is actually, I think, is a pretty bad card to run. Or it's good if you can get out there. I've actually gotten out there once. As well, I've gotten this card out once. 1 number 11 Big Eye. He takes monsters. Dracosec does a lot of damage and pop stuff. So that's why I run them. I have only 2 7s in the deck, so it's kind of, once they're in there, they're in there. Or once they've been summoned, you're not getting the other one out. So choose wisely on your situation. That takes care of the whole deck. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I enjoy running this deck. I enjoyed building this deck. I enjoyed deck profiling this deck. It's such an amazing deck. This is a longer deck profile video that I've done, only for the fact that it was a lot to talk about the deck, and I kind of stuttered on my own words. I'm sorry about that. And I hope you guys really enjoyed the deck profile. Thank you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my videos. And thank you, and have a wonderful, beautiful night, day thing.